welcome to the TLW podcast. I am Jonathan Pixley here with my partner, Dr. Sean Owens. Dr. Owens, welcome back as always.
Glad to be here, brother.
Today we have a super esteemed guest, Mr. Brandon Landry, who has been one of the top entrepreneurs in the United States, dare I say in the world, over the last couple decades for sure. Look, we're going to overstate, if anything, right? For sure. Brandon has been super successful in his endeavors, starting with walk-ons and then kind of transforming the entire restaurant industry here in Baton Rouge by sliding over into, no pun intended, small sliders, and then also opening up a high-end fine dining restaurant called the Supper Club. But that is just really a really brief summary of what he's accomplished over his time. First of all, Brandon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We are honored to have you here with everything that you've accomplished up to this time, up to date. And you and I have known each other for a long time, but to see, you come from, pouring into the game of basketball first whenever you were young. And then your story is amazing. I'm going to want you to give your abridged version of it, if you don't mind today.
Do I have to tell everybody that how much you used to kick my tail in basketball?
No, you do not.
Okay, right.
We're not going to go through that.
Yeah, thank God.
Because then my bank account doesn't look like yours. So it's one of those deals. But the point is, that's where we got to know each other, was on the basketball court. And then to watch everything that you have done since then with the same passion and drive that you had with the game. Is it safe to say that it's what led you to being as successful as you've been?
Absolutely. There's no doubt. I mean, it all started with youth, right? Just work ethic from my family, and then, getting cut from almost every team that I went out for, and, just having the drive and the passion for the love of the game, just to do what I had to do to make the team. And then, just learning that team camaraderie and being a part of a team. And that's what I translated into the businesses today. So absolutely, it goes back to those roots.
If you don't mind, will you take us back? Okay, so you went to Catholic High here in Baton Rouge,
yeah.
Where you played basketball. And then a lot of people know your story, but the fact that you went to LSU to be a walk-on, which led to walk-ons, the whole thing, just kind of take us through some of the things, maybe the obstacles that you had to overcome just to be a part of the LSU basketball team that kind of led you down that road.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I grew up in White Castle, Louisiana, about 30 miles south of Baton Rouge, and I just wanted to go to Catholic High. Went there in 8th grade, played on the team then, and then went out for the freshman team and got cut. And that was the first bit of adversity that I'd faced, right, when it comes to sports.
Right.
Being from that side of the river, I was like, I want to transfer. I want to go to Ascension Catholic or St. John or something like that and play.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, no, you signed up for this. You can get a great education, and if you want to go make the team, go work harder, right?
That's awesome.
And so I did that and made it as a sophomore. And then same thing kind of happened in college. I tried to be a walk-on.
Right.
John Brady's first year, which you know very well.
Yep.
And got cut from that team. And then he ran almost everybody off in the first couple of weeks of practice.
Yes, he did.
And they called me and they said, hey, man, you want to practice? And I said, absolutely. Said, what time do I need to be there? Said 6 a.m. tomorrow morning. I was there at 5, and the rest is kind of history with my walk-on career. But, it was... Look, I wasn't supposed to be out there, right? But in my mind, I was. And it was, no one was going to tell me that I couldn't be a part of that team. And like I just mentioned, that being on that team and going through some of those instances, it really kind of sparked my business career. And it's really what we hang our hat on today.
You mentioned Coach Brady, and funny story, there was a year whenever I was playing for him at Samford where you talk about running guys off.
Yeah.
We had 4, I think maybe 5 scholarship guys leave at Christmas.
That's how this was.
At Christmas, yeah. It's crazy.
It's not a great time to leave a basketball team, is it?
Yeah, that's how it was. That's why they called me.
Okay, so you transition into the business world. You come up with the concept for walk-ons.
Right.
Kind of take us through that.
Yeah, so as I was walking on the basketball team, I figured pretty early on in my career that I probably wasn't going to play the next level, the NBA. You know, I was playing like 7 or 8 minutes a year. You guys that know anything about basketball, that's not a whole heck of a lot. But we were literally on the way home from the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Just got beat by about 30 points. All the starters were sleeping on the front of the plane. My founding partner, Jack Warner, and myself were sitting on the back of the plane wide awake because we didn't play a second. And they give us the bev naps to put under our drinks. And 19 years old at the time, and we started doodling. And, you know, traveling throughout the SEC, throughout the country, we were able to see all these different places. And being here in South Louisiana, it's like, man, we need a great sports bar here. You know, this was before kind of Buffalo Wild Wings and that sports bar phase really started taking the world by storm. And so we did. We came up with our little sketch, which, side note, that original sketch is still on every bev nap and every walk-ons across the country today. We go back to an entrepreneurship class at LSU, Dr. Robert Justice, and we had to do a business plan. And we said, man, well, let's do it on this crazy walk-ons idea. So we did. We thought we had this great business plan, and we turned the project in, and we got a seat on the project. Dr. Justice said, that's not necessarily the idea, but you need some help with the business plan itself. And so we called him and we said, hey, man, will you help us? This may be something we actually want to do. And so he did. He helped us, and we worked through those couple of years of really trying to perfect the business plan. And so we did what every young entrepreneur thinks you're supposed to do, is go buy a cheap suit and you take your good business plan, you walk in a bank, and they give you money, right? No. That doesn't happen like that. The first 6 banks had said, yeah, great. No, we can't take that chance. Wow. You know, restaurant business is risky in itself. And I go back to the early days of sports, right? Getting cut from the team, it wasn't like, oh, let's hang it up. No, it was, especially being a walk-on, it's like, let's go. Let's go to 4, 5, 6. And we went to lucky number 7. And SBA banker out of Lafayette, Louisiana, Mr. Andre Fruge, walked in his office and said, if you guys are willing to bust your tail, I'll give you a loan. The rest is kind of history. I mentioned his name because it wasn't for Mr. Andre. We wouldn't have got the original loan, and we opened up the OG walk-ons right there at the gates of Tiger Stadium in 2003. Here we are, 23 years later, and almost 100 locations and tens of thousands of teammates throughout the country. And it's an American dream, but it all started with sports and a little bit of adversity, right?
No doubt.
Yeah, I laugh at the story because there's a saying I tell all the kids that apply to dental school: it's not the grades you make, it's the hands you shake. And brother, that speaks to it right there 100% without a doubt.
It's networking, man. I tell, my kids, I still go back. I spoke in that professor's class for 15 years. He invited me back just to tell our story, but there's nothing more important than the relationships that you form.
Yeah. And
I'm living proof, and how many success stories out there do you see this?
Yeah.
And it started with, just networking on the basketball team, right? Yeah. Meeting boosters and my teammates and coaches and things like that really supported me and supported what I wanted to do. But still today, there's, of course, like people will talk to us now, right? If I go to a bank or I go look at a piece of property or something, but 9 times out of 10, like, you get a deal done because of the relationship that you either form with the partner or the group that you want to deal with, or people just want to do business and have relationships with like-minded and people that you can trust. And so that's of the utmost importance.
So you have what we can all agree is, massive success with growing this brand, not to just being a Louisiana or Southeastern thing. We've got something that's nationwide and is recognized, internationally. But you don't stop right there. The opportunity, I guess, presents itself to kind of take the brand into other ways of doing things within the restaurant business. Would you mind giving us a little brief rundown on, how you decided to move into, Smalls and then Supper Club?
Yeah, well, I think, first of all, walk-ons, it gives you a platform to do great things, right? And so, just what we're doing in the communities and our Game On Foundation and those things, like, that's what the best thing about doing business and doing well in business is what you can give back. And, the programs that we have internally inside of our restaurants to take someone that just shows up for some beer drinking money for college, right? And show them a career path.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool. And once again, it goes back to sports. And, just being that serial entrepreneur that I've always been, Walk-Ons was growing and doing well. And, there's nothing more important. It's like a great GM or a head coach. It's surrounding yourself with people smarter than you, and being okay with that. I think that's where a lot of businesses or entrepreneurs sometimes get in trouble. They want to be the smartest guy or gal in the room. And I was never like that. And I don't know if that just came inherently or not, but I just always trying to surround myself. And so as the business started taking off, once again, the entrepreneur in me is like, what else is there out there? And just, traveling throughout the country and seeing different concepts and, understanding the branding aspect of business, came up with the idea with Smalls. And it was taking one of our menu items that we had at Walk-Ons, our cheeseburger slider, and, kind of having a sneak peek at seeing the success of a one product brand like Raising Cane's here in our backyard, and seeing what Todd did, kind of took a page out of his book, right? Taking one item, doing it better than anyone else, kind of in that space. And, having Walk-Ons and having big buildings, right? Big boxes. I went the complete opposite route and said, how small can I get it? No pun intended, right? And everything about it, small burgers, small buildings, small footprints, and, 700 square foot modular C-can buildings, and serving great cheeseburger sliders, fries, and shakes. And so did that idea. Drew Brees, actually, he became a partner of mine at Walk-Ons. He invested in 2014. And so we established a great relationship. And I'm literally telling him my idea about Smalls. And he's like, dude, I want in. I was like, hold on, man, I wasn't pitching you here. And he goes, no, he goes, I'd love to be, he was invested in different brands and things like that, but he had never been at the inception of one. And so so I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And so we launched it in 2019, right at the gates of LSU, like Walk-Ons, and got the first one open, and we opened up a second one, and then my private equity group that invested with Walk-Ons a couple years prior, they started kind of peeking over the fence, and they were like, wow, you might have something we haven't seen anything, the words were, we haven't seen anything to disrupt the big burger chains until now.
Well,
And so they invested early, and we set this thing up for growth, and here we are, 5.5 years in, and almost 40 units open and over 400 franchises sold. And so it's once again, the American dream just kind of.
I work in Thibodeau some, and I realized Thibodeau had made it. When I got down there recently, I saw Walk-Ons and
Smalls, yeah. We love our Louisiana markets, man, because they trust us.
Yeah.
Being born in the concepts born here, it helps when they kind of know the stories.
Yeah.
Once again, a lot of relationships built in the cities throughout the state, and so it's been fun, man.
That's awesome.
Supper Club.
Yeah.
That's totally different.
Yeah. It's so with the Walk-Ons, kind of me stepping out of the CEO role there. Smalls setting that up for growth and expansion from the get-go with a CEO and a team there. Once again, travels throughout the country with these two concepts and going to big cities like New York and Vegas and Miami and Dallas. And, I'm a foodie, and I just love the everything about, just how you can come in and the five senses work, right? It's more than just, there's a lot of good chefs and cooks out there that don't make it in the restaurant business because it's more than just food. Like if you're going to open up a restaurant, more than likely you're going to have pretty good food. It's everything else that goes into it. And Mackenzie, my wife, and I, it's more of a passion project, and said, can we do something different to the restaurant scene in Baton Rouge? And not that, look, we have awesome restaurants here. And once again, born and raised here, I love everything about our restaurants here, but we just felt that there was an opportunity with atmosphere and, vibe and a little sexiness and taking, the sourcing food from around the world to another level. Like I told my chef and operating partner, Leighton Carbo, it's like, go find the best. You know, whether it be the best Wagyu or the best salmon or the best king crab in the world, let's get it here. And people want it. And then let's make sure the vibe and the music and the chairs and everything about it can work. And so we did, and it was a little bit, probably the biggest risk we've taken to this point, to put that type of investment here in Baton Rouge. But, you know, 3 years in already, it's crazy. And more than exceeded our expectations.
I can't open Instagram without somebody popping up a video of celebrating their birthday there. I tell you
Yeah,
that.
it's become the place, like if you're celebrating anything,
Yeah.
you better be there, right? Or your spouse or your significant other is gonna let you have it, right? And then, you know, just to, I mean, the people that we bring in town and corporate events, you know, or corporate dinners, I should say. And since then, in the last year, I've added a private club to it as well. That's membership only, and we're on a waiting list. And so it's been fun. It's been a fun project. And actually, now I've been getting interest from people that have come in and maybe visiting companies here in town. They come in and they live in Birmingham or Little Rock, and it's like, how do we get one up here? So I don't think this is anything that I'll franchise, but I may expand this brand. You got to get it all right and tight first.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Very cool.
Yeah.
The market here,
Yeah.
it could be questioned as to whether or not it could. I was fixing to say stomach. I can't do that now.
Yeah.
Whether or not it would bear that concept, right? Do you attest some of the success to it early on to the fact that people trusted you?
I think so. I think, to my point earlier, it's from our history. And we at least, I mean, we might not always get it right. We try to get it right. And, you know, 20 years and 2 decades in the restaurant space here in Baton Rouge, and then we had other concepts like, you know, Schlitz and Giggles and the Rue House and Happy's Irish Pub, you know, so we've kind of been in this space for a while. Yeah, that had something to do with it, but no matter how much they trust you, you still got,
Eventually it'll play out, right?
Yes. And so now, you know, once again, it goes to go get great talent, surround yourself with great people. Like I can't cook, the Shashiri Wagyu like Leighton Carbo can, you know, and so I went around town and said, let's try. And like I had to, once again, I didn't take no for an answer. I went and saw Leighton 3 times. And he's like, I don't know if I'm ready to, you know, he was in a corporate restaurant group role. And I was like, man, come on, like, let's go do this thing together. And finally, after my persistence, after 3 or 4 visits, he's like, let's go. And it was the best decision. And hopefully he would agree as well.
Yeah. I want to shift gears here a little bit. So anybody who has success that's sustained over time, there's a lot more to it than just you show up at the office, you crunch numbers, you know, you bark at people. Like there's a lot more to it than that, and you've already talked about a lot of it. If you're willing to share some of your daily habits, because we're big here at TLW on getting yourself set up properly for the day ahead and focusing on today. This is what you have in front of you. We're not guaranteed anything beyond that. So let's get the most out of today. Again, if you're willing, would you share some of your daily routine that you go through, some of your have-tos? I have to do this first thing in the morning or whenever it is.
Yeah, no doubt. No, you know, if my wife's watching, she's gonna laugh here, but because I've always talked about this. But like I get up early. I'm probably 4:30 a.m. every morning. It's a workout. Very first thing in the morning, because once again, I'm a foodie and I like trying our products. And so I have to burn it off some
Necessity.
way. But man, for the last probably 2.5 years, and this is where she's gonna laugh, I'm a cold plunger. And
Good for you.
Drew's actually the one that introduced this to me a couple of years ago. And he's like, dude, do you have one yet? Have you done it? I was like, I haven't. He goes, it's life-changing. For him, it was. And I was like, okay, well, it's been the same for me. And I know some people's like, yeah, look, I get in there and my mood, my energy,
everything.
I mean, just, and then the brown fat and all this stuff. I mean, once you do a lot of research, I mean, it's a game changer. And so like, and then also the mental side, right? Because like when we go through the day, being in business, like we're going to face things that suck, that we don't want to do, right? And as you read about, like if you wake up first thing in the morning and before 6 a.m., I've already done something that sucked for 4 minutes. And I know before I get in there, it's going to suck for 4 minutes. But let's go tackle it, right? It's kind of like, you hear about the buffaloes with the storm, right? They're one of the only animals that go straight when they see the weather coming. They go straight to the storm because they know they're going to get it over with, right? Where other animals, they'll stay with the rain in a storm for a day. And not that that's an appropriate analogy, but I mean, when I get in there in the morning, and so enough of the cold plunge. Sorry, Mac. And then I try to do. I get all that done before my kids get up. I got 3 kids, 8 and under, and so being with all the businesses, I'm not. I don't want, and I'm not going to be the guy that's not present and not around. And so I am. If I'm in town, I am dropping them off at school. I love getting them up, getting breakfast and things like that, and getting them to school. And I mean, that's some of our best times, just think about it. Like people talk about the best times, 8, 7, and 4, like we have fun, we're whatever songs they want to play and things like that. And then, it's at the office, and our 2 walk-ons and smalls now are both based in Atlanta. So a lot of Zoom time and things like that at my office here, but also a lot of try. I get over there every couple of weeks into those offices, or I still try to make as many openings as I possibly can, especially for walk-ons. Smalls is happening a lot more rapidly and a lot more spread out here. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to sustain that because, once again, family is first and foremost. And so that kind of takes me throughout the day. I try to eat somewhat healthy, I don't know if I do the Saturdays like you do, because I kind of put it in.
You said that, and you were talking about smalls earlier, and I'm like, yep, I know where I'm going tomorrow.
Yeah.
Saturday.
Yeah. They're like Tic Tacs, man. You can eat a bunch. It doesn't hurt you. And so, I mean, the business day, like it's different. It's not a certain day, like meetings from this time to this time, because I'm the chairman of both boards. So I stay. I'm not the CEO of both companies, but I'm still the chairman of both boards and largest shareholder on both companies. And so I'm still very involved. A lot of people ask me, they'll say, like, what are you doing now? I was like, the same thing. It's just the title and the companies are not here. But that's what technology and Zoom and team meetings can do now. I mean, you can be in everything, right? And so, and then, I'm not a guy that's going to stay at the office till 8 or 9 o'clock. Like, look, I'm getting done, and I'm going home, and I'm going to jump on the trampoline or throw a ball with the kids or play soccer and things like that. And then, we try to do things as a family together at night. And now we're kind of getting in that phase where soccer practice and t-ball practices, and so we're kind of we're dividing and conquering at this point now. But wouldn't trade it for the world, man. And then we try to take the summer. We've been blessed with an opportunity to take the summer and do special vacations each year. And I was just telling you guys that we took the kids across the pond this year, and trying to introduce different things to them. And awesome. It's been fun, man. I'm very blessed, and and on the weekends, like, we're a faith-based family, and we do church on Sundays and make that a thing. And I try to sprinkle in a little bit of golf every now and then. I hung up the high tops after I tore my Achilles in Ancient Athletes.
Gosh, what are you doing playing?
I know, dude. I was 30 at the time. I didn't think I was that old yet, but that was it. And so, my golf is my pastime.
It's called Ancient Athletes.
It is, for a reason. PTs and orthopedics stay in business because of ancient athletes.
Support that highly.
Yes.
So if you reflect back on your career, to switch gears again here for a second, Brandon, and you look back at some significant challenges that you faced to get to where you are today, can you think of any, maybe 2 or 3 that you faced? And kind of as you look at those challenges, is there anything that you thought of that you leaned on to help you get through those challenges?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, I think in the beginning, we didn't, there's a reason why 6 banks turned us down. And nobody wanted to invest because we didn't have barely any experience, right? And I mean, we opened up the original walk-ons when I was 23 years old. Most of our team had more experience than us at the time. But I always tell people when I tell our story, you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes ignorance is bliss, and it's good to kind of just, that's when especially when I go talk to colleges or high schools, it's just like, go. Like, just go, because there's no better time to do it than now. Because once you get kids and a family and a house and a note and all, it's like, whew, I don't know if I want to take that risk. And so, but with that came no experience, and we didn't buy a franchise, and we didn't have systems and processes. And so, look, the people that may be listening or watching that went to a walk-ons in 03, 04, 05, like, I apologize. We were not good. Like we had times that man, are we gonna make it here? Like, is payroll gonna clear? Or are we gonna be tough conversations with the banks? Like, hey guys, like, I mean, how many stories do you hear like this? Like it doesn't just happen, right? There's very few. You're like, oh, you start making $1 million right away. No, it's a lot. But I will say it was once again not being or being humble enough to get help and to reach out to people maybe in the industry, or call consultants, or sit down with restaurant veterans that say, help me out with this back of the house, or how are we looking at food costs and labor and things like that. A big event for me personally, it was when my founding partner and I split up. A partnership is like a marriage, and you go through, like Jack and I went through the initial stages of trying to get this thing off the ground, right? Get financing, open it up, the brand, the concept. But 10 good years, and we just went separate ways, right? But it's also, it's like a breakup. It's like a marriage divorce. And so, going through that, it kind of takes a little bit of you and understand, okay, now, like, how do we, because partnerships are for a reason, right? Some people may do some things good, and the other one kind of picks up the slack. And so it's understanding, okay, now it's me, right? And my silent investors, but it's me running the business. And so it was a transition time for me, but it also, it makes you kind of realize, all right, you have to figure out what you're really good at, and do that better, and not necessarily feel like you got to be great at everything.
Right. And surround yourself with the people.
And surround yourself with the great people, and once again, be humble enough to say, hey man, I need help in this. I want you to be my partner in this, right? So I think that's it. And then look, it's I think growth is great, but growth is hard, and growth is it takes it takes funds, and it's a different mindset. The biggest jump, right, is from one restaurant to 2 restaurants, because you can't cut yourself in half and send one over there and one over here. But when you talk about scaling and keeping consistency and keeping your culture, because that's really what we built the businesses on, is back to the roots of walk-ons. I mean, we talk about being more than a restaurant and celebrating the underdog mindset in everyone. And that's kind of what we preach inside of our restaurants, and smalls too. I mean, like, the small things matter, right? Can you come as a high school sophomore and start cooking some burgers with us, but then all of a sudden, you have a career here. So I think it's taken all those opportunities as life lessons. And I like to say the concepts kind of grew and matured with me and us. I've learned so much throughout the years, and now I just try to pay it forward to the kids that are coming out, our teammates, and Charlie Kelly, he's my CEO at Brandon Landry, kind of my parent company now. We were talking yesterday. It's like, yeah, everybody wants and needs to make money, right? But it's something special when you can just create paths for people, and you see what you can do for, of course, the communities that we're in. But I mean, I can't tell you how many say kids at the time that started off with us as a busser or
Dude, the furlough kitchen that y'all did during COVID.
yeah, like
That's
things like
that's
that,
huge.
man. Yeah, they're doing those things. The hurricane. I mean, not of course. I mean, once again, I've had great mentors, and having Todd here is one of my best friends, and seeing what he does with Canes and the tens of millions of dollars that he's put back in. But it's also like, once again, it's learning from other people, surrounding yourself with great people, creating these relationships that last. It's a special part of it. It's not being the smartest guy and gal in the room. I can tell you that right now. It's not that, because I wouldn't be sitting here telling you guys this story if I was, because I was a C student at best my whole life. But you know, I truly think that my path and why I've been, you know, I've understanding what you're good at, like I said, and inspiring teams to kind of come together and go after a common goal is what I'm good at. You know, building those teams and getting people to understand our vision. If I can get each concept or each brand to understand the vision of what we're trying to do, it's more than just burgers and beer or Wagyu and wine. It's something that's special inside of our four walls.
So, a couple more questions for you, if you
Yeah.
don't mind. Raising a family while you're building an empire, ultimately, right? What were some of the difficulties that you encountered when that whole process began? Difficulties you encounter today, right? And then what advice would you offer men and women who are going through that? And it doesn't have to be to people who are building and scaling to the degree that you have, just the everyday couple that's trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I think if there was any bit of advice, and someone told me this early on, and I go to these restaurant conferences, and I'm around a lot of very successful entrepreneurs, and as I started having kids, and they were like, "Get home to those babies," you know, and I think so many people, and I took that to heart, you know, I think so many people get caught up in like, well, I got to grind right now, and then I'll be with them when they're 10 or 12 or 4. I mean, like Mac and I were just like our young, I feel like just yesterday, she's 10 years, she's gone, you know? And so I really took that to heart. And so, look, I'm very fortunate. I understand that. Like, I've been blessed with great businesses and things like that, but there's nothing that comes in front of those three and McKinsey. Right. And so, like, there are a lot of things that I get asked to be at and be a part of, and thankful for Zoom and technology and all that stuff, because you have to be able to, I guess my point is, you have to be able to say no. And a lot of people get caught up and they want to say yes to everything because I got to build the business, right? Or I can get to the kids. No. And do I miss things? Yes. I'm not the perfect father, guys, by any means, but they're my priority, and I'm going to be with them and my family more than anything. If the business has to suffer because of that, then so be it. So be it. I'm not going to put them in front of that. But you have to. I go back to my comment earlier. If you're building a business and you want to grow it and you want it to be successful, you can't not afford to not hire the right people to surround yourself with so you can do these things.
That's right.
And I get it. Like, everybody has to grind and they have to do things. And I'm not saying that you can just go and hire the best of the best right away. But once you start having a little success and you start getting at it, then a lot of people say, well, I can't afford it. You can't not afford them, right? If you really want to put those priorities first. Once again, I've had great mentors, and understanding that at an early part of my family, you know, kind of starting off my family, has really helped.
Look at my oldest just got married a few months ago, and the hardest day for me was the day after the wedding.
Yeah.
It's when she came to the house and picked up just the last little bit of stuff that she had, and then took off with her husband to go to their house. And you know, my wife Donna is looking at me. She's like, "What's wrong?" It's like, it's over.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, we're going to be super tight and all that,
Right,
but
right.
that
Yeah.
that stage
The
is
season
over.
is,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Yeah. Those seasons go quick, man. Like they do. So.
Last question.
Yeah.
Let's go back to 19-year-old Brandon Landry, who's in the back of that plane,
Yeah.
drawing up the business plan. What would Brandon Landry today, if you could go back, tell 19-year-old Brandon Landry that?
Whew.
Maybe just one piece of advice.
Yeah. I think great things take time, man. And because in the beginning you don't it's hard to see the forest through the trees, right? And I think a lot of people, especially on today's social media world, they think that, oh, that guy's got that and that just, I can get on TikTok or I can be an influencer and, I can make $1 million next week, right? And it might have not been that back then because we didn't have that in 1999. But you also, you get in business and you're like, man, I should be making money. I mean, but it's laying the foundation and understanding that. And yes, we've had success and all, but once again, I go back to there were sleepless nights that you just gotta, it's investing in the business and the little things and the details and the organization and investing in relationships. And I feel like I was pretty good at that, but it's having that understanding at a young age that, look, it will pay off, and sometimes it is hard to see it down the road, but I think that was it. I got impatient at times, and we may have made decisions throughout. Not it all paid off, right? But decisions throughout those years, but yeah, man, it's a journey, and I think the second part of that, it is to the journey. Enjoy the journey. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people want to get to where I'm there, right? But man, when I go back and think about the years and the grind and teammates that we had and going back to old pictures, and we didn't realize how we thought it was tough at that time, but it was really man, we were building something special right then, and enjoy those small wins along the way.
Wow. Really, really, really amazing stuff. Really appreciate you coming on.
Man. Thanks
and
for
giving
having
us
me.
the time for sure. That's it from Brandon Landry. And if you...
That's all I got.
Yeah, that's it. That's it for now. That's all you're going to get, at least here. But really appreciate him stepping up and telling his story and words of wisdom and sharing some things with us today. Dr. Sean, do you have anything to close with? Anything to add to that?
One last thing. As a semi-product of Brewery, everybody in the West Side claimed you as a foreign cousin of some sort.
Well, we pretty much are. we pretty much are.
No, really appreciate
West Beach roots go deep, man.
Ain't no doubt, man. Really appreciate your time joining us.
Thank you,
today.
bro. Appreciate it.
That's it from the TLW podcast. We look forward to seeing you at the next one. Go get it.